The Erika Kirk files. Everything they don't want you to see. Hook. Pull them in. Let me ask you something before we even start. What happens when the wife of one of America's most powerful conservative voices, a man who died demanding government transparency, turns out to have her own name buried inside the very files he was trying to expose? What happens when the grieving widow steps into the spotlight, takes over the entire organization, carries every piece of her husband's legacy forward, except the one thing that could destroy her? What happens when the silence itself becomes the loudest thing in the room? That's what we're talking about today. Because the Erika Kirk story isn't just about rumors anymore. It's not just about online speculation or conspiracy theory forums. There are documents. There are emails, there are court filings, there are timelines that don't add up no matter how many times you rearrange them. And there is a pattern, one that once you see it, you cannot unsee. So buckle in, because we're going through all of it. Part 1, the image she built. To understand what's happening now, you have to understand who Erika Kirk presented herself to be. When Charlie Kirk died on September 10, 2025, she was everywhere within days. Speeches, interviews, tributes. She positioned herself not just as a mourning wife, but as the continuation of a movement. She stood at podiums and said things like, "His passion was my passion. His mission is now my mission. Everything that Turning Point USA built for Charlie's vision and hard work, we will make 10 times greater through the power of his memory." The conservative world largely rallied around her. She was handed the CEO position at Turning Point USA, uncontested. Nobody ran against her, nobody challenged her. It just happened. But here's what a lot of people didn't know at the time, and what's now coming out hard and fast. Long before the public grief, long before the speeches, long before TPUSA, Erika Kirk had a life that she never fully talked about. A life that allegedly included an orphanage in a foreign country, a real estate firm tied to some of the most powerful and most infamous names in the world, and a beauty pageant career that puts her directly inside one of the most documented predator pipelines in American history. Her name is in the files, and the files don't lie. Part 2, Romania, the orphanage nobody talks about. This is where the story stops being uncomfortable and starts being genuinely disturbing. Before her life in conservative politics, before she was Mrs. Charlie Kirk, Erika reportedly ran a charity operation in Romania, specifically an orphanage that dealt with orphaned and vulnerable children on an international level. On paper, that sounds like philanthropy. That sounds like humanitarian work. That sounds like something you put on a resume and get praised for. But here's what allegedly happened behind that paper. According to allegations tied to the leaked documents now circulating, children went missing from that orphanage. Not one or two. Missing. The kind of missing that prompts investigations, that gets international attention, that forces governments to act. The orphanage wasn't just quietly shut down. It wasn't voluntarily closed after some internal review. The entire operation was formally accused of child trafficking and was asked to leave Romania. Read that again. Asked to leave the country. Think about what it takes for a foreign-run charity to get kicked out of an entire nation. That's not a small thing. That's not a paperwork issue. That doesn't happen because of a misunderstanding. And the money involved? According to people who've looked at the records, it was serious money, international funding, the kind of capital flow that doesn't just vanish. It moves, it transfers, it ends up somewhere. Now add this. Leaked documents have reportedly identified Erika Kirk as one of Jeffrey Epstein's recruiters, and Romania is listed as a confirmed connection point in those documents. That's why she was removed from her CEO position. That's why this isn't just a rumor floating around YouTube comment sections. This is documented. This is in the files. Part 3, Miss USA and the pipeline nobody named. Now let's go back even further, because the Romania chapter didn't come from nowhere. Before any of this, before Charlie Kirk, before conservative politics, before the orphanage, Erika competed in Miss USA. And the timing matters here more than almost anything else in this story. When she competed, Miss USA was owned by Donald Trump. That's not speculation. That's public record. Trump owned the Miss USA and Miss Universe brands, and Trump, as court documents, deposition transcripts, and his own social history confirm, had an extensive and well-documented personal relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, Does competing in a beauty pageant make someone guilty of anything? No, absolutely not. But here's what the Epstein court filings actually describe, and this part is critical. Multiple victims and witnesses gave sworn testimony that Epstein's network specifically targeted beauty pageants as recruitment grounds. It wasn't random, it was a system. Contestants would be approached after events, sometimes by talent scouts, sometimes by agents, sometimes by men who had judged the competition, and offered things that sounded like opportunities. All expenses paid trips, modeling contracts, career advancement, access to powerful people, a fast lane into a world that would otherwise take years to break into. It was a dream being sold to ambitious young women, and some of them took it. What made the pageant circuit so useful to Epstein's network wasn't just the access to contestants, it was the legitimacy. These were professional events. Judges and attendees had official reasons to be there. There was nothing suspicious about powerful men being in those rooms. It was expected. A talent pipeline, hiding in the place nobody would look twice. So when Erika Kirk's name starts appearing in Epstein-related documents, and she has a verifiable history competing in exactly the world those documents describe, people stop calling it coincidence. Then someone resurfaced an audition clip from her pageant years, old footage, the kind of thing that was completely harmless at the time, just a contestant showing personality and drive. But people are watching it very differently now. In the clip, Erika says, "I feel like I have something very unique to offer this whole experience. I'm very coachable, I'm very trainable, I'm kind of like a gypsy. I don't mind living out of a suitcase, I'm used to it." In context, yes, that's standard pageant language. Be flexible, be adaptable, be easy to work with. But strip away the context, replace the setting, and those words hit completely differently. Very coachable, very trainable, doesn't mind living out of a suitcase. People aren't forgetting that clip. Part 4. The real estate firm and the Rothschild connection. Still think it's all coincidence? Let's keep going. After her pageant career, Erika Kirk became a licensed real estate agent in New York City. She worked for a firm called the Corcoran Group. The publicly listed CEO and president of that company is a woman named Pamela Lehman. That's the official, public-facing name you find when you look it up. But researchers pulling Epstein-related documents found something in the official name search and alias records, a federal document listing the Corcoran Group's president not as Pamela Lehman, but as Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, listed under her aliases as Lindy Rothschild, listed under her work affiliations, the Corcoran Group Incorporated, president. If you know who Lynn Forrester de Rothschild is, your blood just ran a little cold. For those who don't, she is one of the most connected, most powerful socialites and financiers in the world, and she moved in the exact same elite circles that overlapped with Epstein's network. She's referenced in Epstein communications, her name appears across multiple documents tied to Epstein's social and professional world, and she is listed as president of the same real estate company where Erika Kirk worked. Now here's where the April 2011 emails come in, and these are verified, they are in the public record. These emails show Jeffrey Epstein, Pamela Lehman, and several real estate representatives exchanging messages about a non-disclosure agreement tied to a specific New York City property, 9 East 71st Street, Epstein's Manhattan townhouse, one of the most notorious addresses in modern American history. In one of those emails, Pamela Lehman was set to forward the NDA directly to Epstein. He responded, and here's the detail that stands out, telling her not to use his direct email address, use an alternate one, keep the communication at arm's length. The NDA was confirmed, attached, and forwarded. Another realtor named Betsy Messers was also part of the exchange. Now, to be absolutely fair, Erika Kirk is not personally named in those emails. Her name does not appear in that specific chain of communication. But the executive she worked under, at the company she was licensed through, in the city where she lived, they were directly coordinating with Jeffrey Epstein over legal documents tied to his private residence. And here's the detail that no one seems to have a good answer for. Erika got her real estate license in October 2018. It expired in 2020. That's a full 2 years as a licensed agent in one of the most active real estate markets in the world, and there is not a single publicly recorded property sale in her name. Not one. So what exactly was she doing for 2 years at a real estate firm whose president shows up in Epstein's federal documents while selling no real estate? Part 5.